Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is John with Tommy's Top Picks, here to give you a bit of a spicy update. So if you were following along with me back in December, my top speculation is that we would see an Elemental Wizard with Everfest, and it has officially been confirmed. How exciting. One of the things, and I definitely called it a degenerate and dubious speculation because you can never tell what will happen here. But one of the things I said was, if you're interested in trying to make money off of this, go pick up some wizard cards, which I actually followed my own advice. I put my money where my mouth is, and I bought both equipment and directly Majestics and the like in the wizard set. Now, we don't know how well they will perform, obviously, but the reality is we have a new wizard, so that's going to build some hype, and we have a new wizard with very specific mechanics, so let's get into it. So this lady here is called Icelander. Yes, that is a capital I. I didn't realize that at first myself because it looks exactly like the L to my eyes. But a release video, as you can see, was put out here. And essentially, they say the name. It has a voiceover, and it says Icelander is a new ice wizard, blah, 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 blah. You can find this on YouTube. Just search the name Icelander and capital I there, and a card market release update. Basically, they got an early teaser because they wanted to announce this card market, which is the EU partner, or European partner for Flesh and Blood as a card market. So it's like the TCG player, I guess, of Europe, which is cool. If that's not right, let me know in the comments because I honestly don't know the European market that well. But awesome. Love higher distribution, love more people involved, and love growing the game. So all good things. Icelander, though, let's get into this because I am super stoked. I was hoping for a wizard. I was pumped for a wizard, and I got my wizard. And it doesn't hurt that she's a freaking awesome, icy, blonde lady here, shooting icicles out of her hands. Like, come on, that's awesome. So, Essence of Ice. First thing to note, only one element, right? And unlike Briars and Oldhams and Lexis, they're a little more powerful. They're multi-elemental even in their young form. She's a young elementalist, a wizard that has 18 health instead of 15 like Kano, so she's a little bit healthier than he is, which will make her a little bit more competitive from a ability to stand up. So essentially you can run a Kano list with more health if you want with her. Only in Blitz, obviously, because she is young, but that is where Kano performs very well anyway. So, move into what she does. If it's not your turn, so now we understand the first feature of a wizard, because I was curious what would be the common theme amongst wizard. Would it be non-attack actions? You know how Kano's cards there's no attack actions in his deck? Or would it be something different? Turns out it's something different, and that is interacting on your opponent's turn. So that's kind of cool. I like that as a feature of wizard. It means they move a little bit quicker or a little bit more fluidly than most combatants. So if it's not your turn, you may play a non-attack action card with a blue strip from your arsenal as though it were an instant. Whoa, okay, let's think about this. That means you can use your arsenal as a place to set yourself up for a big combo turn, or you can use your arsenal to zap your opponent with a non-attack action card, which, think about it, again, all the wizard staples are non-attack actions. So basically any wizard card that's blue strip, obviously, can go in her arsenal and zap out at your opponent on their turn, which, if you recall how Kano works, there's definitely some combos that can be built off of it. So something to think about, something to keep in mind when you're if you're going to do further speculation on how this will play. I'm already excited about this, I'll be honest. When this mat was previewed by Rudy, I didn't make a video about it because it was too little amount of information, so I was like, it's okay, whatever. And so I left it, and a couple of people made videos about it, worth checking those out. But essentially, I was like, is this a wizard or is this like some sort of lore thing? We didn't really know. It was just a picture. So I was hoping it was an ice wizard. And so what I did is actually I went and built an ice stack to see what you could combo that was purely in the ice realm. And I will tell you one thing that is a common theme. Most ice cards, and I'm talking like 80% of them, are actually non-attack actions. There's only like 2 or 3 that are attack action ice cards. So the rest of them are elemental cards, right? Which is different and doesn't apply to this really. I mean, she can still use elemental cards, but it doesn't apply to this ice, specialty. And you'll see in the second part why. But so I built this stack and played a couple games. I used Oldham as the hero just to get an idea of how the lines of play work. And I think there's a lot of fun combos here and a lot of interesting synergies. So second part, let's jump into that. So a bunch of them are non-attack, so you could use those theoretically. Now, to be fair, on the ice, the non-attacks don't have direct damage sort of capability. They're usually like a plus something in dominate. They add to attacks, things like that. So unless they add a support pool for this, it will be less of interesting dynamic within the ice cards themselves. Second step, whenever you play an ice card during an opponent's turn, create a Frostbite token under their control. So Blizzard just went up in value, period. It's an ice instant, right? So it just went up in value instantly because you want to run Blizzards in this deck because it automatically creates Frostbite tokens whether it does anything else or not. And you do play it during your opponent's turn. It's set up specifically. I think it just reduces or increases cost by 2 or something like that, or you pay 2 or discard a card, something of that nature. So Blizzard is definitely already, boom, the value just popped up. If you don't have a position in Blizzard, you should get a Blizzard position, or rather, by the time you hear this, it might be too late to get one, so keep an eye on those prices. And then the second part is, so you get this Frostbite token. The second part about this is it changes the meta. Now, granted, it's a young hero, so it's only for Blitz, but Briar and Ira are godly in the meta for Blitz right now, and this will slow them down significantly because you're creating Frostbite tokens pretty easily under their control. And again, we got to assume there's going to be some more ice cards and some non-attack actions coming out with Everfest that will increase this and enhance this even better. So if we dig in a little bit, let's take a look at the cards that tie to this card in particular. So first, the Wizard card. So I just did the blues because blues kind of the synergistic thing here. So any of these cards can come out of her arsenal as an instant, right? The first step, right? Blue strip cards from non-attack, which all Wizard cards are. Blue strip from the arsenal as an instant. So basically, she's got instances on tap. You put this in a deck, and you can just run this as an instant. You don't get the icy effects, but that's okay. You don't need the icy effects to run a strong Kano deck. Now, granted, Kano doesn't hang with all blues, so that's where the dynamic shifts, and you got to look at how ice can synergize with the blues to be successful here. There's a lot of good stuff here. I mean, this Op 2 as an instant, not bad at all. None of actually Index isn't a bad one at all. There's a ton of these that are really good for running as an instant. And then the second thing to take a look at is all the ice cards. So you got your Channel Lake Frigids, right, which is a beautiful thing to run as an instant because you can suddenly start putting ice tokens down, right? And I mean not ice tokens. I'm sorry, extra costs like a ice token. But what it ends up doing is by playing it on their turn, you essentially get an extra turn out of it for free because the flow counter only comes at the end of your end phase, which means you will have an extra turn with Channel Lake Frigid if you use it as an instant from Arsenal. So that increases power. Here's Blizzard, the card I was talking about. Target attack loses and can't gain go again unless the attacking hero pays 2. That's what it is. I'm sorry. It reduces go again. So again, another awesome card for her to play. And when you play it, it will create an ice token, right? So our Frostbite token. So against a Briar, against an Ira, etc., this is a very powerful card because not only does it do the go again thing, but it's now going to cost them even more. So they will have to pay extra. And actually, this cost will be up 1 because the Frostbite token is created on the stack first. So the Frostbite token will come down immediately, and then unless the attacking hero pays 3 resources, they'll lose go again going forward. Which, if you're paying 3 resources against a Cheerio, they hate you. They hate you so bad because that's usually 3 red cards. Maybe they have some yellow in there, right? The Ice Amulet's a nice one. I'm not sure how powerful it will be other than the fact that it's a 0 cost. You know how I feel about those. I love them. The problem with it is it does synergize with Ice Fusion. And from what I recall of looking at the elemental cards, there's not a whole lot of Ice Fusion that makes sense in the terms of a wizard deck. Now, if they come out with a bunch of elemental cards that have fuse with ice and non-attack action and things that are synergistic with her, it would be a different story. But you got to work with what we have here. The Pulse, this is a defense reaction. This just popped in value, although I'm not entirely sure it's a great one because I've never found it to be the super best card. It costs 2, which is kind of expensive. She'll be able to afford it easily enough. Ice, Earth, and Elemental action cards, which is good if you're playing an Ice deck, have a +1 while defending. But you're basically, you get your Earth defense reaction. Oh wait, this doesn't count as a non-reaction, does it? Let me see. Is it any blue card out of Arsenal? Yeah, it's any... No. No, it's non-attack action, so that wouldn't count for this effect. Oh wait, that's just for the instant. Oh yeah, so any ice card during the opponent, yeah, they would get a frostbite token with that. That's great. So this now added value. This has more value now just because of that card. So if you play this as a defense reaction, you can probably afford the 2. You'll create a frostbite token, and you'll be able to defend with something else from your hand with a +1 while defending this turn. So, and that would be multiple. So if you're again a multi-attack opponent, this would be very strong. You play this first, yeah, sure, they're hitting for 1, but the next attack, and the next attack all get +1 on your defense value. So yeah, that's pretty good. And the frostbite token to slow it down. So yeah, that'll definitely do it. Weave Ice is an awesome card. Blue is the weakest. It's a +1, obviously. If the next card is fused, it gains Dominate. That's okay. You're not going to be playing that during their turn in any effective way. And in fact, most of these... actually, this one is interesting. I never thought about Winter's Bite on an opponent's turn because it wasn't possible for. But this is actually a really good one. Winter's Bite from the arsenal. On the opponent's turn, as an instant, target hero discards a card unless they pay 1 resource, and because it's coming out as a blue ice card on their turn, you can play it as an instant, and you'll also get the frostbite token, so they'll have to pay 2 immediately. Now the go again goes away because you actually don't have any action points to refill, but that's still a powerful anti-Ira, anti-Briar functionality. So yeah, that's solid. That's real solid. Let's see what else. None of these attacks will make any sense. Your next attack this turn gains +1 whenever. Yeah, that doesn't make sense anymore. Next time ice or elemental attack hits a hero this turn, create a frostbite token under their control. Yeah, I think that's it. As far as what we have that's really solid. Yeah, as far as what we have that's really solidly, out here already. There's a couple of high power cards that work with her, right? Your Pulses, your Winter, or Winter's Bite, Channel Lake Frigid on their turn will be nice, and Blizzard as well. The rest of them, I think, don't really work, but again, they're nice cards to have in Arsenal that you can use for your own purposes, and if they're going off and you're in trouble, you can swing out with them and create that Frostbite token, even though it doesn't do anything, right? So it'll be an instant non-attack that adds bonuses to your next attack this turn, which will add nothing because you won't have an attack this turn. But you'll be able to slap them out with that, unless, and this is where we got some really fun speculation, there's a handful of other things that might be happening. There's one thing to think about. If there's more cards in here that allow for some sort of off the top of the deck, like Kano has, instant ability, right? Then you might get to do a swing even on the opponent's turn. I'm not entirely sure that makes sense. I'm not entirely sure that will happen, but that's something to think about. And unfortunately, you got to look at these. Most of these are attack value, right? So it doesn't apply to the wizard cards because the wizard cards don't have attack values. They have arcane damage. So something to think about there, but pretty cool. Anyway, so last thing, which I know you Guardian players out there will love. This got leaked as well. Macho Grande, 7 cost red strip, right? Dominate, swings for 10, defends for 3. 7 cost for 10. Now you know that Volda and what she's up to. She's creating all those tokens, right? So those tokens reduce cost for each one of them, and she's doing it every time the opponent draws. So she can get this knocked down quite a bit and probably smack it with a, with a blue, pay for it with a blue, and then have more cards either to defend with or otherwise. Swinging for 10 for a blue? Come on, that's out of control. Man, I'm excited for Everfest. Anyways, that's the releases for now. It's some pretty cool hype stuff I thought was awesome. And then also Card Market, European partner. That's huge. That's exciting. This game is growing. I really think Everfest is going to see a big boom in new players and exciting things. Keep up with my market updates because, like I said, some of this stuff I speculated on way back in December. And if you took action, you're probably going to benefit from the spike that this card's release will produce. Now, granted, I don't know if it's something you can sell into if you have a large enough position or if it makes sense, but it brings value to cards that were relatively cheap before. So it was worth checking out back then, and I hope it helps those of you out there that listen to me. Anyways, in the meantime, hope you have a good one, and hit that like and subscribe button if you like the content. I'll see you next time.